is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Thrown under the bus.
No.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
I'm not okay with that.
It sounded good when I thought.
Log on and join our live conversation.
Yes, I don't like
right.
that.
You're 100% right.
DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, August 21st. I'm here with Stephanie, Tori, Brandon. I am Sam. Let's get right to it. Well, the president's comments on Jewish Americans are upsetting some in the Jewish community right now. Watch.
And I think any Jewish people that vote for a Democrat, I think it shows either a total lack of knowledge or great disloyalty.
And Trump followed up tweeting, "Thank you, Wayne Allen Root, for the very nice words. President Trump is the greatest president for Jews and for Israel in the history of the world, not just America. He's the best president for Israel in the history of the world, and the Jewish people in Israel love him. Like he's the king of Israel, they love him like he's the second coming of God, but Americans don't know him or like him." So, Tori, as a Jewish American, how do you feel about this?
I want to educate people because I'm not sure people know about this. It's called dual loyalty. I don't know if you guys heard of this.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a very famous anti-Semitic saying, and it's been done since the beginning of the Roman Empire.
It's to divide.
It's the divide. Now here it is. Jews can't be trusted. That's the trope, because they have only loyalty to Israel and Judaism. And they therefore can't be patriots of their own country. They can't be trusted. They're disloyal. It is, I've heard it a million times. I called my father. He's heard it a million times. It's old. It's done. We're smarter than that. We're not going to be divided like that. I can disagree with Israel and still be a good Jew. I can disagree with my president and still be a good American. At some point, the racial discussions of stoking separateness is going to get old. And for me, it's gotten there.
So, Tori, I want our DBL Nation who agrees with President Trump to feel heard. And
Yes.
I want you to have the opportunity to have a conversation.
Absolutely.
So here's a tweet that just came in. It says Trump is right. America's Jews are loyal to a party whose first loyalty is to the enemies of the Jewish state. Someday that will make a difference to them.
Yeah, we've heard this. Jews have heard this for centuries. And it's the idea of don't trust the Jews. It's a very simple trope. And when I say that, I'm only trying to educate you because we're all smarter than that.
Yeah.
Jews are good people. They're smart people. They died for this country.
You can be a critical thinker. You can have duality of thought.
Exactly. So please don't buy into it. Don't get hyped up. He's trying. It's not going to work.
Okay. Well said. Thank you, Tori. We appreciate that.
I just learned something.
I learned something
Dual
from you all
loyalty.
every day.
Me
so
too.
thank you.
Yep.
Well, a 15-year-old student in Florida was busted for allegedly threatening to shoot up a school. When police showed up to arrest him, his mom got visibly upset. Take a look.
Go ahead and turn around. Put your hands on your back. He's under arrest currently for making a threat to cause a mass shooting / act of terrorism.
Cause a mass shooting? These games, these kids say stuff like that all the time. It is a joke to them. It's a game.
Guess what?
So
Guess what?
wrong.
My time in
Hate
law
that
enforcement
game.
is all
That's
these kids
so
keep getting
far.
arrested, and that's why the FBI and the local law enforcement is spending so much time. Because how do we know he's not going to be a kid from Parkland or an act of
He's a little
terrorism?
boy. He
He's a
didn't do anything wrong. Yes, he's 15. He's still a little boy, and he's not one of the crazy people out there doing stuff.
Okay, well, he did what he did.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be treated as though he is a terrorist or something because he made a silly statement on a stupid video game.
Wow. I mean, it does humanize the issue, seeing a parent fight for her child. Should we treat talking, threats, things that we say on video games as a terroristic threat?
Yes and no. Because like the mom said, kids say stuff like that all the time. I've had a white friend be called the N-word. There's all types of, I'll come over to your house and beat your butt.
On video game
chat rooms and over the headset.
Video game chat rooms, I heard, are the absolute
worst.
most vile language and threats.
But here's the kicker. When you go and you say, I, Dalton Bernhardt, vow to bring my father's M15 to school and kill 7 people at minimum.
That's direct.
A terroristic threat.
I agree.
You got
I agree.
direct,
And why did that become a threat to you? And this is what the Supreme Court has said forever. A reasonable person could interpret that as an imminent threat. He was specific.
Yeah. Yep.
He was organized.
Yep.
He had a weapon of choice. You can't joke. It's like saying bomb in an airport. It's not funny anymore. It's not going to work.
It's written, Stephanie, as a manifesto. It's prideful. Yeah. His name is in it. That is alarming, and I'm so grateful for law enforcement and whoever was on the other side of that video game to report him.
Oh yeah, it's the perfect sign of say something, see something. We're seeing Snapchat stand up, we're seeing Twitter stand up. Everyone is holding themselves accountable for people on their platforms when they say something wrong. Now, like you said, he clearly said his name. He mentioned his father's gun. The mum had to confirm to the FBI there was a gun in the house that belonged to the father.
Wow.
So I mean,
a different story.
It does. It does. My heart breaks for that mom. I get it. My heart breaks for that mom, but believe me, her heart would be a lot more broken. God forbid he did do that, and then she would feel like the blood is on her hands.
I wonder how those old school shooting children feel when they hear things like that. I'm sure they're thinking, well, yeah, the police have done the right thing.
That's why it's a red flag law. That's why you have them.
Well done by law enforcement. I know, well done. Well, student activists, speaking of which, student activists from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School have just unveiled a sweeping gun control program. I read it thoroughly for the first time since the mass shootings in El Paso and Dayton. They are releasing a plan they hope the whole country can get behind. It is called the Peace Plan. It would create a multi-step national gun licensing and registry program that would include in-person interviews and a 10-day wait before gun purchases. It would ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, and it would implement a mandatory gun buyback program. It calls for the installation of a national director of gun violence prevention, and it would also raise the age to buy a gun from 18 to 21. The NRA has responded, saying the gun control community is finally being marginally honest about their true wish list. The simple fact remains their proposals and ideas are out of the mainstream, and most people will understand their real intent goes beyond what they publicly state. I'm confused by this. As somebody that supports the Second Amendment, and I mean I'm confused by the NRA statement.
Right.
As somebody that supports the Second Amendment, as somebody that wants to own a gun and protect myself in my home, I have no problem going through all those steps to ensure the safety of everybody else. So why would any responsible gun owner feel like that this is impending or impeaching on their Second Amendment rights?
And speaking from their point of view, I don't agree with this. They feel that any law
gonna chip away.
is chipping away at their fundamental Second Amendment rights.
But we have a health crisis in this country where we're seeing mass shootings every single day. We're seeing, how many you mentioned yesterday, 288 in this year alone. We're seeing kids be killed, and then their survivors are broken, their families are broken. So if you have 7 deaths from a mass shooting, guess what? You really have, it's exponential how many deaths
And guess
occur.
who's coming up with the legislation? Those same kids.
The survivors.
The same children. Shame on Mitch McConnell.
And we're talking about,
Shame on you.
we go from one story about a 15-year-old making terroristic threats. Then we go to these kids unionizing and coming up with gun control proposals. Come on now.
And it's not taking away your guns, but I know that the other side does feel like that it's chipping away. So please write in, because all I want is for us to understand one another.
You want to get the other side.
All I want is a compromise. All I want is for everybody to feel heard. So if you don't feel heard on this panel, please chime in. And I think our goal is all the same here. Our goal is to protect our children, is to protect all of us. If we go to a church, if we go to a movie, if we go to a concert,
Walmart.
we all want to feel protected. So let's somehow figure it out.
You know the sad part about this?
What?
Is this just gonna, this proposal is just gonna be a folder on Mitch McConnell's
We don't
desk?
know. We don't know.
It's just gonna sit there.
I think it is going to motivate people to vote.
So?
I do think it'll
You know what it will?
Right,
Sam's right. It'll be the youth vote. Because you can't look those Parkland students in the eye when you turn 18 and not say, I've been where you are and I'm scared and I've had triggers and drills.
They've had
I'm
drills.
going to vote too.
I hope I'm wrong.
We'll have to wait and see. But you know what? You can, whether you agree with them or not, you got to respect their activism. That is remarkable. So
someone's doing
gives
something.
me hope for the future. It really does. Turns out basketball legend Larry Bird doesn't want to be considered a so-called tattoo guy, not after This mural of him popped up on the side of a building in Indianapolis with tattoos covering his arms, hands, and even his face. Larry says he's worked hard on his brand, and the tattoos go against that. So what would you, if somebody remade you as a football player, you know, to our viewers, Brandon is a former NFL football player, what would you do if somebody remade your brand and remade you to where you don't feel like your brand's represented?
Yeah,
would you feel hurt?
I wouldn't feel hurt. I would do what he's doing, and he just wants the tattoos removed. That's it, because he's worked so hard for this clean-cut country boy image, and he's done so many great things. I think he looks at that. It's kind of like a stain on his image.
It doesn't feel like it's him.
And he said that you don't have to take it down. Just please remove the tattoos.
But that's the whole point of it.
I was going to say that's the whole point of the piece of art that the artist has spent their time doing. It's their freedom of speech. It's not on. I mean, obviously now the media have put it everywhere.
Right.
But you know, it's not on billboards. It's not in magazines. This is like a standalone mural.
I'm with Brandon though here, Tori.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to disagree with both of you because I know that you agree with Stephanie. I think that if the artist is trying to honor Larry Bird and he finds out that Larry Bird wants to be portrayed in a different way, why wouldn't you just paint over the tattoo?
Because then what are you saying? What is an artist? An artist is supposed to push the envelope. An artist is supposed to show you good old NBA next to Allen Iverson NBA. That's what that image is about.
That's not
it's
even the
provoking
same
conversation.
era.
That's exactly right. It's bringing two
But I wonder
NBAs
if he's really
together.
mad. I wonder if he's really annoyed or mad or trying to protect his image, or if he's just like he saw it, he had to respond. I just hope we're not reading too into it.
I don't think he would have responded had he not really wanted this changed. And you don't tell an artist what to do.
Just tell him
He's asking for change.
No.
He's not saying, you know, I've seen this and I don't like it. He's asking them to change it quite actively.
That is
It's like a piece of graffiti, or you take the Queen, Andy Warhol, Elizabeth Taylor, and you manipulate.
That's true.
That's the whole point.
I think I'm more on their side now.
We're in Boston.
I am.
We're in Boston.
You got
I
me.
want to know what Boston fans, you Celtic fans
Please
out
tell
there,
us. Yes.
please write in.
Yep.
Because if you look at it, like I said, he's just saying for those to be removed. Why can't you take those?
Because you're whitewashing, literally whitewashing in a piece of art.
there's no point. You
You're painting over someone's interpretation.
Whitewashed
Interpretation.
as ever. So he's just trying to keep that brand intact. It's like me doing a mural of the Queen of England and putting zigzags
And you don't think that's not happened a million? I was going to say, you don't think that's not happened a million times, and people got posters and pictures of it all over the world.
A lot of famous people have been remade and redone, and you wanted me to show a certain image. I'm so sorry. It was hard to hear the
They did come to an
boo.
agreement that they are going to remove the tattoos.
Oh, they did.
Very disappointed.
So okay, so the artist and Larry Bird came to an agreement, and they're going to remove
Disappointment
them.
over here.
Okay, so it's good that we got that final thought. Sorry I couldn't hear you over the debate that was happening on this table, but thank you, producers, for always updating us because we are live. DBL is live. Coming up, meet a great grandma who loves the thrill of jumping out of planes. Find out why this jump is extra special in Heartthreads, and you, the viewer, are our fifth host. What would you do if you lived in a neighborhood named after a KKK member from the past? Would you change it? Would you want to keep it? Your comments coming up next.
Hey there, DBL Nation. Kelly Schubert here, the DBL digital team. I'm tracking all the breaking and trending news. But right now, I'm going to hand it over to Tori. Tori, what's up, girl?
Guys, everyone's got these cool hair clips. No, I don't have one. So come here. Oh. You see it? And then Sam has one in pearls.
They're mine. You can borrow them anytime you
They're
want.
yours?
They're mine.
Thank you. Also, I have to fix my shoe. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, good discussion. No, you don't have to fix it. Good discussion. Now, a lot of people writing in saying a buyback program is considered confiscation, meaning you're trying to take my guns away from me. Actually, it's a transaction. You would actually literally get money. If we came and took your guns, and that would be violating, of course, many amendments, including the 4th and many others. But again, a buyback is voluntary. No one's forcing you to. It's a transaction. There's money involved. It's quid pro quo. It's a barter system. New Zealand did it after the mosque shooting, and people voluntarily, thank you.
I did it.
I'm very proud of you. Gave back their guns. So, but I do see the Second Amendment people tell me that they feel any kind of infringement is going to be chipping away. And my question back to you, I think the name is it's on YouTube, the guy who just wrote in. Do you, when you read the Second Amendment, does the words a well-regulated militia influence your opinion? Meaning, I don't find this well-regulated. Just teenagers with AR-15. The whole World Channel just wrote me. So I'm just talking to you personally. Feel free to debate me and write back. a well-regulated militia is something that I'm okay with, and that's why the Americans put it in, because they were fighting with the British. I don't find today's climate well-regulated at all. There's no background checks, so I would think it's in keeping with the Second Amendment to regulate guns. Now, write me back, tell me what you think, and let's have an honest-to-God conversation. How about that?
Let's do it.
30 seconds.
And I'm breaking out.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host, when we talk about what you're talking about. Colorado homeowners have voted against changing the name of their neighborhood, even though it's named after a past member of the KKK. Stapleton here in Denver will still bear the name of the controversial mayor, who was a high-ranking Klansman decades ago. Meantime, Stapleton's community center and a local school changed their names to separate themselves from the racist past. So, DBL Nation, would you vote to change the name of your town if it was named after a racist? Take it away, Brandon.
Here we go. Jim from Facebook says, no, the name of the town doesn't matter to me. I'm about living in the now and helping my community today. Well, thank you for writing in, Jim, but that town wouldn't be what it was unless this guy was the mayor. Now, here's some of the things he did. He was one of the several politicians who helped the KKK seize control of Denver and Colorado politics. He served 5 terms. He's also appointed fellow Klansmen for multiple positions in the Denver government and appoint a Klansman as police chief.
Yikes.
So Stapleton wouldn't be Stapleton if it wasn't for this man. So
that's
not
horrific.
my hashtag not my
Police
Stapleton.
chief.
Police chief. And you wonder why black people don't have great relations with the police.
That is horrific. Yeah.
You blend the two together, the clan and the force. That's right. Sharon from Facebook says, absolutely, there's no more time for hate in our country. Only the ignorant have yet to learn from the past. I gotta be honest, at first I was like, guys, this is way too much to change a town. They've changed the name to mean something else. But then I thought about it. And if I had to live in like Goebbelsville or somebody from the Holocaust, I would not be okay with that. So I gotta live up and be honest and say, I would vote for a change. I know it's a lot to change a town, the map, the whole revenue has changed. But man, it's hard to hear.
Yeah.
Bob from Facebook says, history is history, whether we like it or not. Despite what a person believed, they may still have contributed to a town's origins, and they should be honored for that. Yeah, I'm really sorry, Bob, but I really disagree with you here. I echo everything that I'm glad Tori changed her mind and said that, and I echo everything that Brandon said. I think there's absolutely no reason for this. I mean, yes, it'll take time and finances, but I think it's a positive message all around.
I agree. Sylvia from Facebook says we should not honor former or current KKK members. They are not just racist, they are domestic terrorists. 1,000% agree with you, Sylvia. I think there's only positives from changing the name. I think if you're worried about branding, if you're worried about your town and the e-commerce and the economy, there's ways where you can spin it, like Stephanie said, in a positive way. Why would you want to honor someone that has done such disgusting things to your town? I would want to get rid of it and start anew.
All right, Marianne from Facebook says, changing the name of a town is expensive. People are too sensitive these days. I'm not sensitive, I'm sorry, Marianne. No, I'm not sensitive at all. But when you have grandparents who've seen the Ku Klux Klan ride in the night, at firsthand, and this guy was a part of it, I don't think that's me being sensitive. I just think that's me being rational. So
amen.
Maybe I'm a snowflake or whatever.
No, but I think you're a rational person, an empathetic person.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah. We need to work on that. Let's do it again.
One more time.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, that ring hurt, girl.
That's right. That's right. Did you read this one, or is this a new one?
Should we read it?
This is a new one.
Okay.
Okay, get it, Tori.
Nance from Facebook says, we can't erase history. Changing a town's name does not change its history. That's true. We can still teach about Stapleton. Doesn't mean we erase his name forever. But the idea of elevating that name to a whole town, not a good message.
Unstapleton.
That's what someone just wrote.
Tony.
Yeah. Yep, that's good. That's Tony. Tony on Facebook. Thank you, Tony.
Directions to Unstapleton.
Well, thank you for writing in. We do love hearing what you all have to say. Today we are learning, how Lori Loughlin feels about the whole college admissions scandal. Raquel, you gotta fill us in.
Oh, Sam, a legal source close to the actress is opening up to people, and they say Lori Loughlin is remorseful. And as to why she pleaded not guilty, the source says Lori thought what she was doing was the same as donating money to a school to have a library built. She and her husband Massimo Giannulli are heading back to court next week to face fraud and money laundering charges. They allegedly paid $500,000 to get their daughters into USC. Now, the source says Lori is ready for all this to be over, and she's actually ready to spend a few months in jail because they say she's already spent several months in her own prison.
Yeah. I mean, how do you explain the photos? I mean, come on. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I don't. Coming up on DBL, a daredevil great grandma loves leaping out of planes. Find out why she's putting her life on the line next in Heart Threads. Okay, so we have.
What's Tony saying?
We have
Tony
Barb on
Godney's troll.
YouTube says here, is there a difference between using someone's face and using them to endorse things without their permission and putting their face as a piece of art without their permission?
Talking about Larry
I don't
Bird?
know. Tori, you would know legally.
What's that?
Is there a difference between using someone's face and using them to endorse things without their permission,
Right.
and then putting their face as a piece of art without their permission?
So it just has to do with money. So if you're making money off of it, you absolutely
So
have
a
a
mural,
trademark,
you
right?
do not have
right.
to.
Mural is a piece
Thank
of art,
you.
and again, it's, as she said, it's a freedom of expression. And the idea of juxtaposing the straight lace Larry Bird, as you said, Larry the Legend, with the tattoos
It's
now
interesting.
is the point
You're
of
right.
the art.
They both have convinced me, and then it reminded me, as someone pointed out on here, that in Venice, California, they see Marilyn Monroe kind of like reimagined on T-shirts. I bought a Marilyn Monroe mini poster where she's completely reimagined in a mugshot.
Right.
She's got tattoos all over her neck.
She could have sued if she were alive.
And I thought it was such a cool recreation of her image because of the juxtaposition.
Totally.
So I agree with them now.
Yes! Art history major pays off once! Just kidding. It's a lot of money to learn about art, but I loved it.
What was your top facts? So, like, what's your top facts in art? You've got 30 seconds to.
Always look for triangles. If you see something that indicates movement, look for diagonal lines. And Mark Rothko was not a color painter, but actually a portrait painter. Those color blocks were about human energy. Whoa.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Heart Threads is all about an adventurous great-grandma. Watch how her love for skydiving turned into an effort to help others.
This great-grandma jumped out of a plane for a good cause. For her 73rd birthday, Shirley Romig went skydiving.
When you jump out, your mouth opens and you're free falling, and it's awesome.
Shirley's granddaughter Cassidy joined her. While it was just the first jump for Cassidy, it was Shirley's 5th. This time, Shirley was jumping to raise money and awareness for PAVE. PAVE trains service dogs for veterans that provide emotional support and even physical assistance. For Shirley, skydiving is a thrill, but helping veterans means so much more.
22 suicides a day is just totally unacceptable. And when you can see what a dog does for these guys, I mean, I know what it does for me, and it does for them, and I've seen it.
You're right, Shirley. 22 suicides a day is unacceptable. Thank you for your work that you're doing for our veterans. We'll be right back.
Ooh, what's
up, Daily Blast Live? I'm here to spread all the beauty tea, okay? And today we're talking about the fabulous Chrissy Teigen. Now, my girl, Chrissy Teigen, was seen on Instagram. She actually posted to her Instagram story of getting Botox. Now, this isn't your regular Botox by any means. She was getting armpit Botox. I know. Kind of weird, but let's go ahead and go back and talk about why armpit Botox can be good, okay? So Pit-Tox, what I like to call it, let's go ahead and hashtag that actually. Hashtag Pit-Tox. I like that. Pit-Tox is great for people who sweat a lot with their armpits. I actually would be a great candidate for this because I can make a monsoon happen sometimes, y'all. It can be bad. However, not everyone can actually keep it under control like I do. So for people who are able to actually go up to that step beyond, Botox in your armpit actually helps to block your sweat gland to make sure that you're not gonna be outpouring oceans of water through the day. Now, if you're a celebrity, this makes so much sense. Why would you wanna go on a red carpet and be dripping in sweat, especially from your armpits if you're wearing like a Givenchy dress, wearing a little bit more of like a, you know, something like Chanel. If you're spending a lot of money on that, you don't wanna see sweat stains at the same time. So I think Chrissy Teigen actually made an amazing choice to go ahead and get this Pit-Tox. Remember that, y'all, hashtag Pit-Tox, and making sure that she's gonna be looking great at all times. Now, the only thing is with this, I talked to a dermatologist myself, and they said that you should actually be getting Pit-Tox done every 4 months. It actually rinses through your system, so it's not gonna be a one and done, guys. Remember, this is gonna be something that happens quarterly, so save those coins if you're trying to take these sweat glands away, all right? Now, until next time, guys, I'm Jeray for the Slay. Make sure to follow me on all social media platforms, and let's talk some more beauty tea on the next video. Yeah, that one. Click that one. Just that one right there. It's cool. Bye. Ooh, what's up, Daily Blast Live? I'm here to spread all the
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. What do we have, Tori?
We have Larry Bird comments.
Oh,
interesting. Let's
Legend.
Let's fly away into
He is
that.
a legend.
Barb says, is there a difference between using someone's face and using them to endorse things without their permission and putting their face as a piece of art without their permission? Barb, great question. Yes, if you're making money off of a piece of art and it goes against their brand, that's a trademark thing. You can absolutely sue. But again, if it's just a piece of art and a mural, that's the whole point of it. And someone wrote in XOOX, if he's honoring Larry Bird, then honor him. If he doesn't like the tats, get rid of him. Art's not about honoring. Art's about starting conversation, about pushing the envelope. It's about the NBA now versus the NBA before, about climate, about political change. It's about a lot. So you don't tell an artist what to do.
Interesting.
In my point
And both of you convinced me, so thank you for that.
Oh, my
Sorry,
God.
Brandon. See you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.